Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a brand new episode of Full Steam Ahead. I'm your host, Zoe. Cantu is on my right. Steban is on my left. Hopefully, everybody had a great 3 day weekend on 4th of July, obviously being the holiday, as well as their weekend. A lot of barbecue, a lot of fireworks, and a lot of brooms out there, I see as well. And the outfield, outside and inside. If you got to sweep out some of that grass off your cement on your driveway if you're cutting the grass, and of course you got to clean around the house here and there. But there was a lot of brooms over there in L.A. if I'm not mistaken, Steban.
Yeah, good old built ass situation over there.
Hey,
Yeah.
John, I don't know what are your thoughts on that.
No, I mean it was a great series all around for Houston. I think they played really well. It was a big series win. I think this was a much anticipated matchup for both teams. This is like we called it earlier, could be a World Series preview, and the fact that the Astros went 8-1 against the Phillies, Cubs. I'm sorry, Phillies, Rockies, and Dodgers just shows how great this team could be when they're firing on all cylinders.
Yeah, it seems like everybody's just feeding off each other's energy, like batting wise. Everybody just does not want to stop swinging.
I
Yeah, and some
meant to say the Cubs though, if I'm not. And
yeah, sorry,
Rockies, Dodgers.
Chicago, yeah. Sorry. But I think this team, for so long, Astros fans have seen Jose Altuve come in big moments, Jordan Alvarez in big moments, especially in that 22 World Series. But it's been a mixture of everybody. I think it's been like Caratini stepped up big. Jeremy Payne is doing his thing. Jake Myers is a little unsung hero there. It's just a group of guys just picking each other up and not letting, every passing the baton whenever they can, just getting the, key wins. I think this is the most complete when healthy, I think this is the most complete team the Astros have had in a while, just because 1 through 9, seems like they can carry the weight, put the team on their shoulder at any given day.
Yeah, 55-36 is now the Houston Astros record first in the American League West. 6.5 games in front of the Seattle Mariners. Obviously, they did drop the series opener against the Cleveland Guardians 7-5. Still got the second best record in the American League, trailing the Tigers by 2.5 games. 7-3 in their last 10 games now, which it was 8-2 before, but 7-3 is still not bad. They haven't lost a series on the road since May 19 against the Tampa Bay Rays. And like you had said, Angel, this series win, it was important, but I say it is a statement because this team, and you just said it, right now they don't have a healthy squad. And they are doing it with guys that are coming up from the farm. And like you were saying, they're feeding off this energy from the veterans. Of course, you throw in a little bit of young energy in there with the mix. Man, this team is very complete. The way that they're thriving, the way that they're going. And like you said, if it's not Jose Altuve, the Jordan Alvarez and all them two guys, really the only two staples from that golden era, you got Jeremy Pena now starting to step up with his offensive surge. Jake Myers looks like a different person in the batter's box. Victor Caratini, a lot of people not talking about him, but my gosh, 2 grand slams in this road trip is very phenomenal. That I think that's a very rare as well. It's probably a stat out there somewhere. Christian Walker, we talked about in the last podcast episode that this series against the Dodgers could be a little turntable for him to go, like for him to get going. And obviously, he did get into the paternity list with his wife and them expecting a child. So, not a bad series win for the Astros. Doing it against a team that has 3 MVPs, multiple All Stars, a good rotation, including not a bad bullpen as well. Man, this is a statement series win, and the Astros continue to do it against above 500 winning teams. They played well against the Blue Jays. They played well against the Tigers, the Phillies, like you said, the Cubs. I mean, they are doing this without a healthy Jordan Alvarez. Of course, Jose Altuve is getting back on track. Yonder Diaz is trying to find his groove. Jerry Payne is now being a different person in that leadoff spot. So this Astros team has done a very phenomenal job passing the baton, like you said, Angel. This series win, Astros Silence LA, is the episode of this title of 272. And they did a really great job in La La Land.
Yeah, I mean,
I mean, this is
it
a
was
series where this is also a series where Astros had to rely on Zach Short coming up and filling the big hole for Pena. So props off to that guy. And then I saw a funny remark where fans on media said it's crazy how the Dodgers got beat by pretty much the AAA Space Cowboys. That's what a lot of people were saying. That's what it felt like due to all the injuries that the Astros had. But this is a series where it started on the favor of the Dodgers, and then the fans started off the games booing, and then it ended up being the commentators booing the Astros next because they had nothing to cheer about.
Yeah, I will say there was a comment by one of the Dodger
Oh
broadcasters
yeah, yeah. They said that
Oral
Wilson.
Oral
Hershiser.
Hershiser. Yeah, that in my opinion, this is me coming from just me. I thought it was unnecessary. I thought that was pretty
Petty.
stupid in
Yeah,
my
it was a petty
petty
shot.
too as well. And come on, man, and Cam Smith hitting a double, and you're gonna say that from all the guys. I'm
Yeah,
gonna say that
freaking.
with Cam Smith when he hits that double, like I didn't think that was very appropriate at that time.
Yeah, I think what Clayton Kershaw and Jose Altuve were the only two people in that 2017 World Series. I'm not mistaken too. So it's, I mean, like to me, I think it's over. It's buried. As the Dodgers franchise, I'm sure they should probably bury the hatchet on that too. Because I mean, I don't want to get into this, but it was a whole baseball epidemic, not just the Astros. It was all around the major leagues.
Yeah, we could also wanted to bring up it was a $158 million difference between Astros and Dodgers payroll this season. So I mean,
And just think about the Astros, how they're getting this done. They're not signing big contracts. I mean, of course, they signed Christian Walker this past offseason, but they're doing it with guys like Cooper Hummel. Taylor Trammell had a big play defensively out there. Mauricio Dubon, like you had mentioned, that was Zach Short. Brian Goose still had a good outing in this series. I mean, they're just doing it with guys that are not LA superstars like Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman, Shohei Ohtani, Will Smith. I mean, they got a star-studded lineup, and they
and you could
should
you could
because
you could kind of say that Jose Altuve probably was MVP of this series as well too. He just showed up
oh
in
no
big
no
moments.
he's in my opinion he's definitely he was the MVP of this
Yeah,
series.
yeah.
He made a statement in this series against the Dodgers, telling and I think he just thrives under these boos. Of course,
And you know what I love too is that I seen that he got so many boos, and then yet pregame he was happily signing autographs for Dodgers fans out there.
yeah, that
It's
was
not an act. It's just not an act. I think at this point,
yeah.
it's like
To
fake,
me,
man.
this series. I mean, anytime the Astros go to Dodger Stadium, and we talked about it, like I said, a big city. Lance McCullers Jr. He wants to be in that moment. Jose Altuve is the same way, and look how both of those guys pitched in this series against. Well, not really pitched, but Altuve hitting and McCullers pitched in this series against the Dodgers. And of course, the Astros didn't see Kershaw. Kike Hernandez did play a little bit, but he made a kind of play the ball different in left field. And that's how Altuve did get a triple out of that. But just real quick, let's go with these objectives. What we have, recap that Dodger series. Astros All-Stars. The Astros did get 3 people, not even people, but players to the ATL in Atlanta, Georgia. Astro snubs. We're going to ask who were some of your favorite Astro players that you think that were snubbed of the All-Star roster for the American League. So get ready to put that in the comments. Preview this Guardian series, Astro injury updates. And if we have a little bit of time, maybe go around the horn as well. Cantu, let everybody know where they can see us, where they can follow us, and all that great stuff.
Yeah, you can find us on X, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. That's at Full Steam Ahead. Instagram is at FSA Full Steam Ahead. You can also hear us on uh, Apple Podcasts and Spotify Podcasts. But yeah, we're everywhere. Learns has done a good job putting some YouTube shorts and TikToks, of our time at Big City Wings as well. It was a really good outing there, and we just hope to continue to grow after that.
Yeah, shout out to Big City Wings. Them out great
Yeah,
food.
I
Great.
think that probably was a big reason why the Astros are fueled by so much fuel right there in this matchup. Could be the big city wings, you know what I mean? Pretty fire.
Telling them, they probably got that video dog, egg rolls and the chicken dogs and all that good stuff. Limited time offers. Just letting everybody know right now.
Don't forget about the hoop tees.
The hoop tees, yeah. You can't
Of
forget
course,
about
man.
Angel's favorite. As
Can't forget about
Angel's favorite.
those.
He might need one right now after this, and he probably fall
Never,
asleep.
never, never.
But a round of applause for how the Astros played. If you're an Astros fan, you got to give a huge ovation for this team, how they played at Dodger Stadium. And first game, 18-1. What a statement of the series opener, 4th of July. Fireworks are going to be going. I'm pretty sure Dodger Stadium, we're going to have fireworks after the game. And sure enough, the bats were the spark, were the fireworks of this game. Isak Paredes had no time to get it going with that first pitch home run into left field. Jose Altuve, a multi-homer game, finished with 5 RBIs, including a double, not to mention Cam Smith, RBI single, and had himself a double. Christian Walker, like I said, big series for him. Always does some good things at Dodger Stadium. And sure enough, 4 for 5 night, including a homer and 3 RBIs. Victor Caratini, like I mentioned before, had a grand slam in Colorado. Well, let's have another grand slam over there at the Chavez Ravine, or Ravine, if you like to call it. Second one of the road trip, like I had mentioned. 11 extra base hits. Everyone had a hit under their belt. 9 for 18 with runners in scoring position. 5 RBIs when they were 2 outs. This was a well offensive win for the Houston Astros, and it went from Isak Paredes all the way down to Zach Short and Mauricio Dubon in the bottom.
Yeah, honestly, a little surprising from Isak Paredes there. He's usually a very patient hitter and ambushing a fastball right down the middle. From I think it was what, not Emma Sheehan. It was
No, it
I
was
forgot. Not Bobby
no
Miller.
Cap. And I'm gonna fumble his name.
Oh yeah,
Caprius or Caprius?
Casperius. Yeah,
Bro,
there you go.
Caprius. There you
the
go.
Capri Sun.
But
Caprius.
but this was a historic win for the Astros in this game. Uh, this was the largest defeat the Dodgers ever had in LA. Brought to you by the Astros there. Christian Walker also became the first player to ever homer in 6 straight games at Dodger Stadium. Isaac Paredes, like we said, first career leadoff home run there. 18 runs were the most the Astros have scored since a 21-5 win over the White Sox. And then also Astros love playing in on 4th of July. The Astros currently have 8 consecutive wins on July 4th, which is the longest active streak in MLB. And like you said, just to piggyback off you, Lance McCullers, where you were saying that he's been so great. He's against the Dodgers, or actually he has 3 starts in Dodger Stadium in the regular season. He's 2-0 with a 0.54 ERA in there. So, yeah, just overall, it's great team win by the Astros.
Yeah, and then talk about Lance, stepping back up after, kind of bad outing his last time. And once again, fans were ticked off about it. And what does Lance do? Answers the right way, comes back, carves up the Dodgers, a team that I'm pretty sure everybody, when they saw this matchup and they seen Lance was scheduled, some guys are probably iffy and like, oh my goodness, it's going to be one of those teams that is going to be probably high scoring. And guess what? Only one gets scored. And it was pretty much picture perfect. But imagine being a Dodgers fan and having to sit there in an 18-1 ball game and just having to wait till after just to see 4th of July fireworks. I'm pretty sure you're not very happy after a game like that. I'm pretty sure nobody was wanting to see anything after that.
I mean, if you bought them tickets that are pretty high, if I bought tickets that high, I'm staying after the game, regardless if it's 18-1, if my team is winning or losing. But to speak of Lance McCullers Jr. and Angel, like he mentioned, like I said, he just loves pitching against LA. 6 innings, 4 hits, an earned run, 4 walks, 4 strikeouts, 87 pitches were thrown, 49 strikes were there. Only gave up a home run to Will Smith. Had a comebacker come off of him from Shohei Ohtani, but Mauricio Dubon was there. Luckily, McCullers was able to get back up and finish out his outing. But this
Off the
was
hill,
a
right?
big. Say it again.
Hit him off the hill, right? Didn't
Yeah,
it?
hit him off the hill.
Yeah, but never touched the ground. So
Yeah,
it
and
was,
didn't
That
hit the
ruled him
ground.
as an out, right?
Correct. Correct. So this was, besides the offense, this was a big right direction for McCullers because of that last outing. It wasn't pretty. And for him to do it against a team like this with one of the best offenses in baseball, you got to feel optimistic. And then your next start, which will probably be against the Guardians or the Texas Rangers this homestand.
yeah, and actually, Bennett Souza, although he entered the game in I think it was 17-1, he recorded a save in this outing too, because the rule states if a relief pitcher comes in, pitches 3 innings, and the last inning is him finishing the game, he gets a save. So Bennett Souza there.
There you go. If you didn't know that, you learn something every day.
So, yeah, because I saw that, so I had to, I was like a save on a 17-1 game, but I had to double check that.
One thing I did want to mention too, Christian Walker, MLB history becoming the first player to homer in 6 consecutive games at Dodger Stadium. He had a remarkable series, batting 349, and in his career, he is 53 for 152 with 21 homers, 38 RBIs, and 45 career games at the venue. He went 6 for 14 in this series, driving in 6 runs in the Astros sweep.
No,
Probably,
And it
probably.
sucks because he's getting hot, and then not suck, but I mean, congratulations to him on him and his wife having a baby as well, bringing in a new baby into this world. But it's where right when he's starting to, heat up on the road trip, he has to take a little 3-day break, but it's all
He
right.
about to get that dash strength anyway, so.
He's about to get the excited that dad stream. He's about to go on dad sanity run after for the rest of the season.
yeah, but that was a big start for McCullers. Well needed. Like I said, piggyback off of this one going into the Rangers, or which is probably going to be the Rangers. Honestly, it's a big step for him, and that's going to be another rival game. That's another game that he could thrive on because I think he just loves that type of energy against rivalry teams. And the Dodgers. It doesn't feel like one because they're in the National League, but of course, with their beef with each other's fan bases, it is a rivalry. And sure enough, pitched really well against the Dodgers in his start, and he looks to carry that momentum to a team that they're going to be seeing pretty soon in 45 North with the Texas Rangers in his next start.
45 North.
Yeah, but honestly, who else to follow up Lance McCullers' great pitching outing when having, one of your aces, Framber Valdez, on the mound for game two? Framber Valdez, I'm not, we might have to talk about him in a little bit, but Framber Valdez, another, excellent start, 6 innings pitch, 7 hits, 4 runs, 2 walks, 7 strikeouts, threw 102 pitches, 67 of them strikes, induced 8 groundouts. But one thing with Framber Valdez, he kept the Astros in the game. I know 4 runs is probably not what he wants to do in reality, but the fact that he was able to throw 6 innings, kind of, put the team on his back a little bit, keep the Astros in the game was pretty phenomenal stuff. But he did get a lot of help from the offense, so this time around, like I said, they scored 6 runs. Mauricio Dubon would have doubled down the right field line to get the offense going. Did he get a hit this game? Because if he did, he still has his hitting streak going.
Not 100
But
percent sure.
yeah, I'll double check
I'll
on that
double
because I know
I'll
I'll
get
double
it.
check
I'm
for you.
looking.
because on Sunday I believe he had a game hit streak. But Seba mentioned Zach Short earlier, and this was his game to produce. Zach Short, he had a 2-run double down the right left field line, then ended up scoring when Cam Smith, put the pressure on Miguel
Yeah,
Rosas at third.
he had a hit. Dubon had a hit. One hit. 1 for 4.
1 for 4, so I think he has a 9-game hitting streak, as if I remember correctly. But Cam Smith put the pressure on Miguel Rojas at third. Rojas made a bad throw, allowing Short to score to give the Astros a 3-2 lead. And after that, Christian Walker, RBI single to center, again loves playing at Dodger Stadium. Yanni Diaz, who's been, on a heater lately too, homers in center field to give an insurance run, and then Jose Altuve with a triple to left as well. And it's kind of funny. Well, not funny, but Jose Altuve just kind of trying to do a Mookie Betts there because right before his triple, Mookie Betts was gunned down at third trying to extend, a double into a triple and then got caught out after Cooper Hummel, raced to get the ball from the fence, throw it out to Devon, and then getting him out at third. But I think overall, another great team win. A lot of unsung heroes, I'd say. Zach Short played a huge part in this game because if it wasn't for him, the Astros could probably have lost this game.
Yeah, not to mention Cooper Hummel too, doing his part, doing his thing, even coming off the bench to get a pitch hit, uh, base hit as well. But yeah, the way that Framber Valdez calm, even though Miguel Rojas' home run looked literally hit the top of the fence, if I'm not mistaken, and just bounced over the fence. I know that kind of, if I was a pitcher, I would have been pissed a little bit more. But giving up that first home run to Mookie Betts, Dodgers scoring early, you think momentum's on their side all of a sudden, but Framber Valdez, like I said, stayed calm and collective. Was able to get 6 innings out of it. Of course, it's not a quality start because they scored 4 runs, but hey, still held his team into it and let the bullpen do the rest because, like Jacob said, Dodgers fooled coming with that bullpen plan. The bullpen, I mean, Dodgers bullpen did not look really good in this series, and the Astros bullpen looked like they were unhittable throughout this series.
I mean, yeah, Dodgers fans did not go with plans. Honestly, the Astros ruined those real quick.
But before we move on, you remember we had talked about Otani was only going to pitch 2 or 3 innings. Sure enough, he did pitch 2 innings.
Mhm.
After that, it was a bullpen game. Got him out of there. Same thing with Capri Sun. Now, I can't say his name, but freaking
Preseason.
Esteban has that name in my head now.
Cas
Casprius, right?
Cas Casprius, yeah.
Yes. Okay. So got him out of that first game. Went to the bullpen. 18-1. You're gonna have to go to the bullpen game 2 because Shohei's not gonna pitch 7 innings or 6 innings. Third game, like I mentioned, I mean, it was perfectly executed for the Astros and how that offense was able to basically get the Dodgers uncomfortable throughout this whole series.
Yeah.
Before we get off on to game three, the Astros have won each of Farmer's last 11 starts. He's now 9-0 with a 2.07 ERA in that stretch. And then once again, Josh Hader, perfect 25 for 25 on Saturday as well.
Yeah, the job that he did, I mean, wasn't that one too, if I'm not mistaken, a 4-out save.
Yeah,
Yes, it was.
A 4 out
It
save.
was a clutch 4-out save going against, if I'm
Top
not
of the
mistaken,
lineup, it was. I
yeah,
think it was
no, the top
Shohei,
of the lineup was
Mookie.
the ninth inning, but the eighth inning he did. It was going against Michael Conforto. Spotted gave the call to the bullpen. Hader came in, and then Roberts executed with his plan, and he went with Eusterio Ruiz, and was able. Hader was
Yeah,
able to get him out.
I didn't even know that the Dodgers had picked up Esteury Reese.
It was pretty recent.
Yeah.
I wonder how that's going to pan out for him because I thought pretty good of Esteury. I didn't see him too bad of a player. I thought he was a pretty good all around baseball player. So that might have been a good pickup for them. But I mean, not good enough to beat the Astros.
Yeah, it wasn't enough to get Hader. So,
but game three, the Astros are victorious again, 5-1. This is a pretty much good example of come in your trap, take over your trap, making my house, not even your house type of situation right here. The Dodgers pretty much might have well just been a road game for them because they didn't even want to show up or anything, protect their house. But pitching, Ryan Gusto just steps up like an absolute stud against a pretty scary lineup here. And 6 innings pitched, 4 hits, earned run, walk, and a K. 80 pitches, 57 strikes. He did have a collected quality start. And I mean, this is just what more can you ask for somebody like this to go 6 innings against a phenomenal team that can pretty much tag up, put 10, 8 runs, 5 runs on any pitcher in this league, really, right now, the way that this team plays.
Yeah, and it wasn't a scheduled start either. It was this was supposed to be Coach and Gordon's time around the bullpen, but they did, and they actually decided to put Ryan Gusto and being able to produce when your number is called at any given time. Just shout out to Gusto. I think this is one of his best outings yet this season.
yeah, and not to mention too, the Dodgers were probably salivating knowing that they're getting a rookie in the series finale and hopefully not to be swept. And shit, Ryan Gusto went out there pitching like a vet, and like Angel said, I believe this is probably one or the best start of his career. I would say against a team like this, man, you have to say this was probably his best start of his
Yeah,
young career.
he got to be ecstatic about that start. That definitely, for really all these guys, the way that he's winning against the team, especially for Lance and Gusto, this is going to be a big ego booster for them. And this is something that's going to be good for them to carry into the remainder of the season where their confidence should be high and hopefully they could have a good remainder of the finish line.
Yeah, absolutely.
But versus offensively, Zach Shore, bases loaded walk, Christian Walker and Yanni Diaz go back to back, and Jose Altuve caps off the series with another solo home run to pretty much the finale of the fireworks show.
Yeah, I think Astros fans are familiar with that 5-1 victory to close out a series too. So especially at Dodger Stadium.
Not to mention there was a home run that kind of looked alike from that extra inning game. I don't know if it was game 2 of the
The
World
Marlon
Series.
Gonzalez one.
Yeah, the Marlon Gonzalez one. That's when Correa went
I
in a
miss
home
Marlon.
run. Jose Altuve had a home run. One of those home runs that he had hit, and I believe it was probably the first game, looked similar to the one that he hit in the 2017 World Series at Dodger Stadium.
Nice.
So, I mean, this series, like we had mentioned, boys. I mean, it was a statement series win for the Astros against a team that they could potentially see if, like we had mentioned in our last podcast, a potential World Series rematch of 2017. And this is a new, it could be a new one coming into in 2025. And the Astros, look, these past 2 years are 5-1 against the Los Angeles Dodgers. So they've done a really good job. Both teams too were kind of equally with the amount of bodies that were on the roster. I believe they have about 14, 15, or 16 guys on the IL. Houston has 15 guys on the IL. So they don't have all their stars. I would say Max Muncy was hitting well um,
Yeah, he was.
before playing the Astros, and
Yeah.
unfortunately, he had an injury in that White Sox series. But other than that, I mean, overall thoughts. Usually I'll run down what kind of overall thoughts I have, but this time I want to go with y'all. What? Give me your overall thoughts, Angel, of this series for the Astros. What do you think? You've seen. It could be a specific player, the series overall. Let us know.
I think I think this is just to just keep letting the world know that the Astros are inevitable and that coming into the series, like even with the Fox commentators, you had them saying that the Dodgers are winning all these games while these people in the injured list, and so have the Astros, right? They're kind of in the same boat there, similar record. I think this just kind of shows that this Astros team's legit. That this Astros team is ready to not just win a pennant, but to win a World Series. And the fact, the way that this team is, such a community, such a camaraderie. Like there was, for example, in today's game, they zoomed in on the dugout, and literally everyone was having a conversation with each other. Just good vibes everywhere. I think that's what gels this team together. So just overall, I think this is, I would, like I just said, this is one of the best teams, just culture wise since probably like 2019, uh, those 2020 season.
Yeah, that's a bold statement, sir, saying that this team could be the best
Or like
team.
no, no, like I'm saying culturally wise. I'm
Okay,
saying
now
like
Oh
culturally.
yeah, yeah. I
How
think
dare you say
I
that?
feel you on that.
Hold on. How dare you say that about Dusty Baker giving out these little treats when he comes into the clubhouse, giving either Jose or Kitty some good Mexican food or giving Jeremy Pena some good Puerto
yeah,
Rican food.
but
Man, how
yeah,
dare you
but
say that to
Nah,
him?
but
but it's
I
right.
I feel what Angel's saying that because I was saying the same thing last
Yeah,
season where I would look into the dugout or watch how the players played or the way their character was or the way they moved. It didn't feel like they were like a brotherhood, like a team.
mhm.
And then now that the way I look at the Astros, the way they play this year, they look just happy. Everybody's just like nobody's serious, pissed. Everybody's just playing the game they love, having fun, enjoying themselves, and then you can bet they're gonna be even more happier with getting Hector Neris back. Somebody that's a big,
That too.
funny guy in the clubhouse, and everybody just loves. So you can just imagine how the bullpen might, pick up a little more swagger on them, a little more dogging. I mean, you already know this whole team is full of dogs because I mean, all season you've seen it. The Astros just randomly put people in, and it just works. No matter who it is, it's just somehow they find a way to make it work. It's not. I'm not saying everybody they're putting in is a superstar, but they're being a superstar by filling in the role that they have to fill in a blank spot for somebody that's injured or not.
Yeah, three things real quick before I tell you about your overall thoughts, Steban. I completely agree with y'all with the culture setting of this team. Everybody
Yeah,
looks happy. You even see when they're rounding the bases, they're pointing at the bullpen. They're
yeah, they're
giving them
shouting
some
out the
love,
bullpen.
shouting them out. Even if they miss it, they go in the top of the dugout and then they still go and try to shout them out. So yes, I agree with both of y'all on how this clubhouse is like it's a brotherhood. And you make a good point. Hector Neris, this is his third stint with the Astros now. And Hector Neris loves, I mean, Astro fans love Hector Neris. And you can say the same thing about Hector Neris loving this team, loving the organization, loving the players. I mean, he's built a relationship with Framber Valdez, Brian Abreu. He had a relationship with Rafael Montero. I mean, that's a brotherhood, and Hector Neris just
Yeah.
loves that. He just feels like home. And of course, you've seen him in big games. He always shows that energy, always shows that love, and tries to get the crowd going. So, yes, totally agree with you on that.
Funny story on Eris. Like it literally just happened today. So I was interviewing Kennedy Corona for his for a feature I'm writing on that we publish tomorrow. And as we're interviewing him, he's like yells at us, like just joking. He's like, "Hey, don't be asking him too much questions. You're gonna get him all nervous and stuff." And then just like laughs and walks off. So just again that culture, that atmosphere that the Astros have.
Yeah, but
Honestly,
Esteban, overall thoughts, Ben. Or if
on
you
this whole
wanted to say that, then your overall thoughts.
on this whole series,
Yeah, overall, this series could be a player, could be the
man.
team, it could be the pitching, bullpen, what defense. I mean,
I
it
mean,
does not matter.
overall thoughts. I think the big step up player was definitely like Christian Walker because we've been waiting for his time to show up, and he shows up in a big time. I mean, the Rockies weren't much of a big team to show up and kind of start showing up against, but to come in LA and come in absolutely fire and just silence all the haters is just love it. I mean, the way I say he's just like an NL killer. But that's just to show you like the difference between AL and NL pitching. Like the way Christian Walker faces against AL is it's a little more harder on him, but it's just to show you like which league kind of has the better pitching rotations in it. But Astros really set a statement to the league, put the league on notice. Like, hey, look, we're not messing around. We're coming for every big team in the league right now, and guess what? We're coming out on top. What are you gonna do? Do something about it. You got 3 games. You got 4 games against us. Prove us wrong. See what y'all got. Let's see what's going on. And that's what they did. They pretty much put their foot down, and Big Dog got to eat.
Yeah, and Christian Walker, real quick, you made a good point. Last 7 games on this road trip, including one game at home, he's batting 375, on base percentage 394, slugging 563, 2 home runs, 8 RBIs, 12 hits out of 32 at bats is that 375 batting average. Very good. Last 15 games, he's almost at 300 and has a 295 batting average. So it's slowly looking like he's progressing, picking it back up again. I mean, shoot, 12 home runs, 45 RBIs is not bad. 77 hits so far this season for the 3-time Gold Glove winner. But not to mention too, MLB Network did mention about the Astros on MLB Central this morning, and they had mentioned about these guys. And DeRosa had said it best: they go and play against you, and they're looking to win 2 or 3 games. They're either looking to take the series or they're looking to complete the whole sweep in that 3 game series, or even if it's 4. If it's 4 games, they're looking to take the 3 or even the 4 game series. So what they've been doing with a bullpen, the rotation, the defense, I mean everything. They have been playing great baseball as of late. MLB power rankings. I know that could be another clickbait because I don't know if y'all saw. First was the Detroit Tigers, second was the Los Angeles Dodgers, and third were the Houston Astros. And that is the Astros coming out this weekend from Dodger Stadium, sweeping them with 29 runs offensively scored in this in the weekend against the Dodgers. And it was insane for me to see that. I was kind of like, it was a little head scratcher because you would think that team would be over the Dodgers. Of course, the Dodgers are a great team, but you just went to Dodger Stadium, did it for the first time, sweeping them over there since 2008, put 29 runs on the board, put 18 in one game, and you still put them at third just behind the Dodgers?
Yeah,
Little
that
head
just
scratcher.
tells you how the mass media feels about this team. Still, it's
Yeah.
just it's sad. I mean, you got to give anybody their flowers. Whoever's playing good, no matter what sport it is, no matter how much hate you might have for a certain team, certain player. I mean, sometimes if you're gonna be all about sports and be a statistician, I mean, you got to just pay homage to where it's due.
Yeah, so
Yeah. I mean, I don't know, right? But I think at this point of the season, I think Astros over the Dodgers. Although it's 1 game difference, I think the Dodgers lost again today, so they're the Astros just 1 game behind them for one of the overall records.
yeah,
Um,
Jake, we got some comments real quick. Jacob, the way the Astros are headed, we are going to the World Series parade in Cooperstown, my galley. And Cantu, I mean, we talked about your penthouse, dude. Has a badass house. I know. We don't. He never invites us there, so we don't
Yeah.
know how it actually.
it's private location.
Yeah, and it just doesn't want to pull up anything. And then he said we got to bring back the stair celly in the
Oh
dugout.
yeah, I love the stair
And
settlers.
that's a throwback right there. That's 2018 vibes, if I'm not mistaken, for the Astros.
What you call it? One thing I did want to bring up too, which is pretty crazy. World Series matchup since 2017, 2023, only World Series matchup without Houston or LA Dodgers involved in the series.
Good to
This is
see that.
back to since 2017.
Yeah, it's. I mean, you can say the Astros are the one of the best teams in Major League Baseball for almost a decade now. Like it's almost been 10 years that the Astros have been playing great baseball. 2015 is where it started for Houston, and Yeah, they didn't go deep in the postseason, but hey, just think about Carlos Correa kind of made that play at short and didn't go to the outfield. Maybe they win that game and maybe win the series against the Kansas City Royals. You never know what can happen in that series. But from 2015, 2016, they didn't make the postseason. But then after that, 2017, it just took off for Houston. Been to the World Series, what, 17, 19, 21, 22. And yeah, that's 5 years. They've been to the AL American League Championship Series almost every year except last year. So they've done a really good job in Houston and losing guys like Carlos Correa, George Springer, Garrett Cole, Justin Verlander, Kyle Tucker, Alex Bregman. Doing that during that time, losing your people that you developed through your system, and of course you've seen them grown and become superstars and all stars and MVPs. It's very incredible to this, the player development department, I would say, for the Astros, and even the front office as well, being able to bring in, some role players, as you can say for basketball, but role guys for baseball as well. I mean, utility guys, bullpen pieces you can add to this bullpen, and then of course in the rotation, your 4 and 5 starters, you can add some of those guys, and Ronel Blanco's in there, Luis Garcia, Christian Javier, Jose Urquidy. I mean, the list goes on, and what Houston has done throughout these past, you still want to call it quote golden era of Astros baseball. They've just done a phenomenal job, and like Angel had mentioned it, the Astros are just still inevitable, man. They are still inevitable.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
but
You can never give up on the Astros.
yes, you just can't. You just never know what they're gonna just pull out of their hat because they're just doing that right now with the bullpen, the starting rotation, and the offense and the defense. So
And then shout out to Cam Smith, just hitting
exactly.
wherever Espada wants him, whether it's the 2 hole, the 9 hole, 5, 6, whatever. Cam's just ready for it all. I love to see it.
Yeah, not to mention that's another guy too that's just been playing really good this season. I
Yeah.
mean, the Astros find
Clutch too.
guys. Say it again.
Clutch too.
Yeah, clutch. I mean, the guy does really well with runners in scoring position. Loves being in the moment, and sure enough, I mean, playing in one of the ballparks that are probably going to see a postseason again. That's been in the postseason for a good while. Good crowd out there. Seeing he's actually seeing it live now that Jose Altuve is getting booed, and
Yeah,
he's trying off of that, man. He's thriving in
yeah.
it. He's
I
love
bet you
learning
he's
from
like,
his
I got
veterans.
your back, bro. Like whatever we
Yeah,
do out there, I'm riding for you. And I'm pretty sure he's, in Altuve's ear, like, hey man, he's probably over there telling Altuve, hey bro, like you all right? Altuve's probably just like, man, this ain't nothing to me, like whatever, you know what I
exactly.
mean?
Just wait till it
But
goes to New York to see how that is over there.
oh,
So
that's gonna be ugly. Those fans are terrible out there. They could be ugly, but I can only imagine like all these guys getting called up to, Kennedy Corona, Zach Short. I bet you as they see this lineup and the way the lineup functions, I mean, as I've been seeing these guys as they have been played recently, they're working the counts, full counts, 0-2 counts, working all the way full, drawing walks. So like you could tell they're taking notes on the veterans and how they're moving. And then I'm pretty sure they're taking notes on Cam, how Cam is moving as a rookie that moves like a dang veteran dang near.
yeah, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Not to mention too, just you did mention about players calling up. The Astros only had 3 of their original starters in the lineup today, being Yainer Diaz, Jose Altuve, and Isak Paredes. Of course, we have some injuries. We have Christian Walker with the paternity leave. People forget that the Sugarland Space Cowboys just won the championship last year, and some of them players on that team, Kennedy Corona, Zach Short, Cooper Hummel, Cesar Salazar, Colton Gordon, Ryan Gusto, all of them guys were a part of that. I'm not comparing minor league championship game to a World Series or even to a Major League Baseball game, but hey, I guess you can say those kind of moments right there build character in these players, build their confidence. So when they get to the big league level, especially at Dodger stand for Ryan Gusto, for example, it felt like nothing to him. He was really like he was in the zone. So the way that these AAA players have came up onto this team and was able to play throughout this series and even this season too. Credit to them. They've done a really fabulous job when their name has been called, and pat on the back for them.
Mhm.
But let's move on to the Astros All Stars. with three guys going to Atlanta because the way that Steban has his hat, because I mean we already like clean fitted Steban. Looks like he's at a club over there in Atlanta. Magic City could be the one if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, Jerry Payne is going to be out there. Hunter Brown earning his first one, as well as JP3, Josh Hader earning his sixth one. Like Steban had said, 25 for 25 in saves. Hunter Brown leading MLB in ERA. Jeremy Pena having one of his best offensive seasons of his career so far. Well deserved for these three guys. Absolutely
Absolutely.
well deserved.
Yeah, I mean, they've been playing their butts off. I think this is the moment they've dreamed of, especially for Hunter Brown and Jeremy Pena. And for Josh Hader, it, it's either like an all-star buzz for him. He's just so used to being there. He's been pitching so good for so many years. But yeah, especially happy for Hunter Brown, Jeremy Pena. Uh, all their hard work is finally paying off, being recognized for, being one of the best in baseball.
Yes, I don't know if you had anything on these three guys.
I think they're gonna do good. They're gonna represent the Astros very well, and I know Hunter and Pena been wanting, another alkali to add on. I did hear an interview once that this was something that Hunter was waiting to put down on his list of things that he has to check off, following maybe perhaps a Cy Young sooner or later and all that stuff like that. But I mean, Pena has a lot of notables already as well. So this is just something to add to his list that he just needed to check off.
Yeah, not to mention like our Skinner had an interview with Pena when he found out that he was an all star. And, just like you said with Hunter Brown, this was one of his personal goals, one of his goals that he wanted to accomplish personally. And not to mention the things that he's excited to go and do is, obviously the events out there, the red carpet show, being around other all star players. The one that he wants to pick up on as of most is National League starting shortstop, New York Mets, Francisco Lindor. And I think that's a good, player to actually pick their brain, winning a platinum glove with a good glove that he
That's
has.
who Hunter wanted to pick off, or Pena?
Pena, this is
Oh,
Pena.
okay.
As well as being a runner up to the National League MVP last year from Shohei Otani, being a captain, being a leader of that New York Mets squad. He wants to kind of just pick his brain, leadership being one of the key words he had said in that interview regarding Francisco Lindor. So I think that'd be cool for him to do that. Josh Hader's been been there already a couple of times, but for those two guys especially, it's very exciting times for well-deserved players like them.
And
Absolutely.
Hunter
Yeah.
Brown could just imagine whose information he's going to be soaking up out there. I'm pretty sure a lot of people will be real interested to talk to him because I'm pretty sure the league knows about him, but a lot of other people he flies under. He's been flying under the radar, but as other guys, I'm sure a lot of guys are interested in figuring out who Hunter is because when he's on that field, it looks like you don't even know who that guy is, or you can even get to know who that guy is because he's just lights out nails.
Yeah, Moses definitely, but like we had mentioned, the selection show was going to be on Sunday, and the Astros had three. I believe the American League, the Detroit Tigers, and the Seattle Mariners have the most players being tied with four. And there was some notable and some you know, controversial ones. For me, Julio Rodriguez is a star-studded player, but
Yeah,
you have guys like George Springer who's been hitting the ball
Hmm.
really well. He just won American League Player of the Week. Didn't get the nod in there. There's some notable ones, even in the National League as well. Juan Soto not getting in. Seiya Suzuki, who's been having a
Oh
great
yeah,
season in Chicago, did not get in
yeah.
as well. So
that's a
there
lot.
has been some there's has
That's
been some maybe some snubs you can say. So I want to ask y'all, this is an Astros podcast, and there's some Astros that I feel like deserve to go to the All Star game as well. But Kentu started off. What do you think was a All Star snub as a Houston Astro for this year's All Star game?
I would say Psychiatrist is one that I think deserved to be the All Star game. And this is the like if he doesn't get in based on injury, replacement. This will be the second time he gets, I would say, snubbed out of an All Star game. He made it last year, but I think he got snubbed in 2023 as well when he had a great season with the Tampa Bay Rays there. But you know. you're looking at a guy who made it to the All-Star game. It's Alex Bregman, and right now, besides batting average, uh, Isaac Paredes leads. He's played most games in third base, has more home runs than Alex Bregman, has more hits than Alex Bregman, has more runs, more RBIs. Uh, Isaac Paredes has a 2.6 WAR compared to Alex Bregman's 2.9 WAR, but Alex Bregman hasn't played a game since May 23rd. May 23rd was his last time. And that's when uh, he got taken out in the fifth inning for injury. And then, Isaac Paredes, again, like I said, the most games at third base by anyone in the American League. And, he's playing his butt off, doing an amazing job. I think this is one of the guys that should be in the All-Star game. And you can even say he's been playing better than Jazz Chisholm, too. So that's another infielder who, you know, there's two people that Isaac Perez could have replaced, and that's either Alex Bregman and Josh Chisholm. But unfortunately, he's not in there. And honestly, a first place team having less All Stars than a second place team, that's kind of suspect for me too.
Yeah, I'm gonna ride with Jose Altuve. I think Altuve should absolutely be in his All Star game. You got Gleyber Torres over him, and I want to say who else do we have? Brandon Lowe, and who was the other second baseman? I
I
think
think
that's
it
it.
was
Brandon
Josh.
Lowe. Jazz Chisholm, but he plays
Gleyber Torres.
he plays third and mostly I think, but second base as well. But I think Altuve definitely deserves to be there. Is
That's all
just
okay. So
the way
basically, a second base.
yeah, at second base, but it's pretty much robbery. It's just in my opinion.
With Angels, I do agree. Isaac Paredes, it's flabbergasting to me that Alex Bregman hasn't played a single game since May 23rd, and he gets an All Star bid to replace Jose Ramirez, and that's funny because what happened to the 2019 American League MVP? Mike Trout didn't play maybe half the season of that second half, or even maybe only missed 2 months, and Bregman didn't even win the MVP, and that's when Bregman was going off that year for the Astros. So yeah, that is crazy.
And I look, you want to
On
think
that.
if Bregman was still in Houston with the same situation, I wonder if it'll be the same results. I wonder if he'll be in the All Star game still, or will he not be in the All Star game?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Same
That's fair.
situation. The same way it's rolling out in Boston, injury, everything stat wise. I wonder how it would roll out.
Yeah, that's fair. But even when he was with Boston in the beginning, and even when he was playing, I mean, give him credit. The dude was lights out. He was hitting
Yeah,
the
he was.
ball like it was a beach ball out there.
Yeah, he
So
was.
credit to him. Yeah, he should have. Jazz Chisholm, that's a head scratcher right there too. I'm not gonna
Yeah,
lie about that one.
for
He
me
he's been
too.
playing. He's been playing third base, but like literally, he's been playing more third base than second base. And for me, I just don't see it aligned for me for him to be in over, like Angel had mentioned, Isaac Perez, who's a traditional third baseman and has been manning that position really well in defensive numbers, offensive numbers, and all of that. I don't know if they want to put him at second base, which you
Yeah,
can draw the
You got
comparisons to,
Brandon Lowe there.
and Brandon Lowe.
So
And like Sevan said too, give Jose Altuve some of his flowers as well. You can even consider Jackson Holiday. He's been playing really good too. So, not to mention, those guys haven't been on the IL. Jose Altuve hasn't been on the IL.
for an aging second baseman too, that's pretty good.
Jackson, I mean not Jack. I'm not even 100% sure if Jackson has been on the IL. Brandon Lowe has been playing lights out as well. And to me, it's just I just don't see it. I don't line it with it. But I'll throw two in real quick. One being Framber Valdez. I thought that was a big shocker. I think a lot of Astro fans thought he was in, and maybe some, baseball people out there as well. Maybe they thought he deserved it because literally he's been lights out these past couple starts, quality starts, throwing a complete game in one of those starts too. I mean, moving his ERA from a 4 to a
Yeah,
2.7 and 2.8 now.
that's
You know,
phenomenal. That's phenomenal work, honestly. For a
yeah,
lot, and there's a lot of people that struggle to even get it back down under three once they get it so high.
yeah,
yeah,
and then over Brian Wu too. I think, and Brian Wu got the last part, and then we're comparing their numbers. Fernando Valdez has a 3.4 WAR, 10 wins, 4 losses, 2.90 ERA, estimated 18 starts, compared to Brian Wu, who has a 2.4 WAR, 8-4, 2.77 ERA, and 17 starts. So if you're looking at those numbers, Framber Valdez, easily over Brandon Wolf.
Yeah, I mean, credit to Framber Valdez. I mean, credit to Brian Wu. Brian Wu is a good starter. I mean, we've talked about the Mariners starting pitching. They're literally the best in the American League as well. And without Brian Wu, I don't know if Mariners would have that many wins under their belt. But, Framber Valdez being the way he's been doing as of late, just, being the contract year 2 coming up, I mean, he's just done a really fabulous job. And for him not to, kind of not make it, which, I mean, the American League right now, if you look at all the starters, you're not, for him, I think Crochet deserves it more than him. I think Screwball deserves it more than him. Hunter Brown, of course, has deserved it more. But with the thing, too, you got to make into consideration teams like the Athletics, teams like the Colorado Rockies, teams like, the Chicago White Sox. The White Sox got in a starter with Shane Smith on there because you have to have one player represent a team, at least one at the All-Star game. So Shane Smith was, I
I
mean,
saw that.
He's been
I think
pitching
he's
good.
3-7, 3-7 with a 4 something ERA.
Shane Smith,
Yeah,
no way.
yeah.
That's
Shane
insane.
Smith. I'll get you his numbers right now. He's 3-7 with a 4.20 ERA. All star.
All Star.
All star. Because
Yeah,
like
what's
Lorenzo
going
was
on?
Talk
saying,
about Julio Rodriguez being
well,
What's going on with this league? We used to be a league, man.
well, because like Lorenzo was saying, each team has to have a representative,
Yeah.
in the All Star game. So
I mean, Adrian Hauser was putting up better numbers, I would say, over Shane Smith. You're talking, yeah, look at his stuff. But another guy I think that really deserved it, and I feel like a lot of relievers don't get a lot of love when it comes to the All-Star games because there's only like 3 slots. It's Brian Abreu. And I've talked about this. This is a guy that I believe that deserves to be an All-Star. 3.3 record, 152 ERA. He leads American League relievers in holds with 22, ranks second in the majors behind Abner Uribe from the Milwaukee Brewers. In that category, ranks third in American League among relievers. I mean, the dude has been really good this year. 169 opponent batting average. This guy could be closer for a lot of American League teams and even the National League as well. And that's the thing that sucks for setup guys. Setup guys don't get a lot of love when this All-Star games because it's usually the closers. And right now, who's up there? It's Andres Munoz, who's well deserved. Josh Hader well deserved as well. Aroldis Chapman is well deserved too. So I think the MLB needs to find a way to throw in, just like I had mentioned about maybe bringing in a utility spot in the All-Star ballot. Maybe they need to do one for some of these like setup guys and some of the relievers, I would say, because without them, the closers don't get any save opportunities. That's how I see it.
That's pretty. I see where you're coming from, and then because really, if you look at your relief pitchers, they're all going to be closers, and then by the time you even try to get a closer to come in, they're still trying to like dangle with trying to put all the starters in and out of every freaking inning. So it's like kind of got to crunch some time in for it, but definitely Abreu should be out there. I ride with you on that one. One thing I want to see is who's going to be addressed the best. I wonder who's gonna have the best outfit for the Astros. You know what I mean? They're gonna go, ATL. It's not a Texas team like it was last year. So last year there are a lot of people implemented cowboy outfits and stuff, which was pretty cool. So this year you're gonna be ATL. So who knows what's gonna go with? Probably be more fashionist or maybe a little hood with it.
Little hood with it.
Little hood with it. Maybe you might see some sideways brims or something out there. Who knows?
What is this? The 03 NBA draft or what? Everybody gonna be in like long suit,
oversized clothes,
baggy pants, baggy shirt.
All
be looking like ludicrous,
right? I mean, they got to represent Outcast and them out there. All-Star snub, my choice. Got to give it to Espada. Man knows his shit. Yeah, the American League managers, I think, is usually
the World Series.
NL is the World Series guy, so it's gonna be
the pennant winners.
Yeah, it's gonna be Aaron Boone. Aaron Boone brought in Joe Torre, if I'm not mistaken, which I don't think. Why the hell is he out there? In my opinion. Mine, and as well as I can't remember the other guy, but he brought another.
Isn't Dave Roberts, isn't it?
Dave Roberts is Brian. Dave Roberts has the Marlins head coach. I mean, I'm not head coach, manager, and another I can't remember at the top of my head, but yeah, you never know. Maybe this upcoming week, some players decide to play, some players decide not to play. You've seen that with Jose Altuve. Usually he gets in, but he usually doesn't go. Um, maybe there's a chance some of these Astro players will get the nod and get the call to go out there to Atlanta. Like Angel said, maybe Isaac Paredes, like Esteban said, maybe Jose Altuve. And like I said too, Framber Valdez, Brian Abreu, the Astros have a couple of guys that can be going out there that are well deserved that should be out there in the ATL. So don't get yourselves down if you only think there's going to be three Astros with this coming up this coming week. I'm pretty sure some players will decline and probably like think a little bit more about the postseason, the second half of the season, and just being
It,
healthy
it
for the rest of
it'd
the
be
way.
really nice if Jake Myers would get out there, just because.
Hmm.
I mean, his bat is not crazy like what everybody wants. Everybody wants the home run ball type of guy now. Nobody cares about the guy that pretty much sets up all the scoring. The get on base or triple double guy, or you know what I mean. Sometimes just even a walk is a rally goer, but his glove is just too under the radar. Just overall as a player, his role he fills in, as much as he takes as much wear and tear and beating, like Jake Myers has to be the guy that I could hope he could also get an opportunity to, make to show out his face and represent the Astros too.
Yeah, the American League as of now that are the reserves. Bobby Wood Jr. He should be on there. Jerry Payne should be on there. Brandon Lowe, Jonathan Aranda having a great season with Tampa Bay. Like I mentioned, Alex Bregman and Josh Chisholm are the two guys that are on the AL. So, like I said, we'll just have to see. We'll just have to continue to monitor. We'll let everybody know too when if anything happens. We'll be the first ones to tell y'all.
Absolutely. But moving on to this, preview between the Cleveland Guardians and the Houston Astros. Well, coming into Monday's game, the Cleveland Guardians had a 10-game losing streak. They had a record coming in of 40 and 48. They're fourth in the AL Central. However, that 10-game losing streak is no more since the Cleveland Guardians did defeat the Astros 7-5, backed by Jose Ramirez's 3-run home run, and just Jose Ramirez doing Jose Ramirez things. There's a reason why he's starting the All-Star game. Just phenomenal pair out around. I'm gonna butcher his name, but Ricci also had a home run too.
Brian Rocio.
Brian
Rocio, there you go.
Rocho,
And you
Luis
know what's
Bryant.
funny? Like they didn't even want him to swing the bat today. They literally had him stack bunt twice.
Did
He
they?
probably got tired of it. He just wants to hit dingers. Just
Yeah,
one of
and,
those
and,
And a
guys.
now
home run.
I didn't really pay attention to the exact stat, but that was like his first righty home run in like a long time, or maybe this whole season, something like that I heard. But the
Nice.
commentators are also saying like literally right now the way that Cleveland's playing, like you literally don't got to worry about nobody besides Jose Ramirez. The rest of like the way they've been playing lately, but I mean you got Quan that's under the radar and Santana as well.
Yeah, I mean, you have a good squad over there with Cleveland. So obviously, we won't give you that Monday view, but we'll start with Tuesday, 7:10 start time. Joey Cantillo versus Hunter Brown. Hunter Brown again, All Star for reason, 93, 1.82 ERA. He leads the Houston Astros in strikeouts with 126 of those. So, just what I'm expecting Hunter Brown to do is just more of the same and dominating with that fastball, establishing that fastball to get that wonderful knuckle curve he does have to get guys out. So a little bit more of the same. He'll be going against Cantillo, who's 1-0 with a 3.41 ERA versus the Cubs. He did get the start and pitched three in the 3.1 innings pitched. He allowed 2 hits, 0 earned runs, 3 walks, 5 strikeouts. He is making second start since being caught up again. Was with the team back in May and then recently caught up again. Does have a 4 pitch mix of a fastball, changeup, curveball, and slider. However, with these two Cleveland pitchers, you do have to take advantage of the fastball when you do have it because for Cantillo, the opponent batting average on the fastball is .292, and his changeup, which is pretty nice, has a opponent batting average of 1.91. So you get 0.191. So you get advantage of that fastball whenever you can.
Yeah, for Hunter Brown, this could potentially be his last one of the first part of the series season before they head up to the All Star weekend. So what I'm expecting for him is to shove, try to get into double digits when that win column, bring that ERA down, and see if he can start that game in Atlanta. Because at the end of the day, it's the managers who get to decide who will start for their teams.
Yeah, yeah. This is the game that Hunter should do well. I think he's just gonna try to minimize every little thing that he can and try to perfect and everything that he can to get clean into the All Star. So I mean, if anything, he might have something to focus on, as in maybe go another extra inning or so deeper into the game that he would like to do because he hasn't gone too far deep into a lot of these games this season. Besides, shutting everybody out and keeping himself in the win column. So it could be something maybe Hunter wants to work out on his last outing is go 7+ or so.
Yeah,
As
I
far
mean,
as as far as Cantillo, this is the guy that I see the Astros even up the matchup on the series, make it a 1-1 series here.
Yeah,
yeah, I
reminder,
mean,
they haven't lost a series at home since San Francisco, and that
I was
that
about
was
to say
like
that.
back in like April.
Yeah, I was about to say that. So I'm glad you brought that up. No, no, it's okay, it's okay. Like you saved my breath. But Wednesday also 7:10 start time. I think because they have an off day Thursday. It's gonna be Slade. Uh, Sassoni versus Brandon Walter. Walter going 1-1 with a 4.15 ERA versus Colorado. Pitched 5 innings, 8 hits, 5 runs, 0 walks, 3 strikeouts. We've seen Walter before struggle and then come back and throw a quality start the next time out. So could be a little bit more the same for that. I mean, one thing we brought to Brandon Walter is not missing a lot of barrels and needs to not leave the ball too much over the plate, but his movement is pretty phenomenal there. So it was kind of hard to pitch at Colorado, like we mentioned when we were in Big City Week. So I'm expecting a bounce back start from Brandon Walter again. A big win against Sony, who's 3-4 with a 3.56 ERA versus Detroit, which is again very great team. I think they have one of the top records in MLB. He did pitch 6 innings, allowing 6 hits, 2 runs, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts. This is a guy that can't be taken too lightly. Does have a 7 pitch arsenal. Throws a fastball, slider, curveball, sinker, changeup, cutter, and sweeper. He'll be relying more on his fastball, slider, and curveball to get through the Astros. We'll sprinkle in his rest of his pitches here and there, depending on lefty righty matchup. However, like I said, you got to take advantage of the fastball when it comes with these two remaining starters because Sony has an opponent batting average on the fastball 320. So whenever you have a pointing batting average over 300, that's not really good. Compared to the slider and his curveball, slider has an opponent average of 0.154, his curveball 0.152. So they're pretty deadly, they're pretty good. So, you know, guys like Jose Altuve who love hitting the fastball, guys like Yanni Diaz who's, swing at that first pitch fastball a lot, this is their bread and butter pitcher right there.
Yeah, this is two guys that love using their off speeds, and like you mentioned with Walter, can't leave over too much over the plate. I think Brendan Walter is really good too, not allowing free bases. So he's going to rely on his defense, if anything. And with that off speed stuff, you're going to get a lot of ground balls, hopefully. And you're hoping that he doesn't leave anything inside the zone or even a hanger. Because if it hangs, somebody's going to bang it. So both guys love that off speed. But Walter, like you mentioned, Angel, after a bad start, he usually comes back pretty good. And he's pitched really well at Duncan Park, not to mention.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, Walter's gonna try to do his thing, get the job finished here, especially against a Cleveland team that he could do possibly really well against. Um, so Sony, that might be a under the radar guy for the Astros. It might be a headache as well. Having a 7 pitch mix is, it's pretty absurd being able to throw that many pitches and be able to command pretty much every single one of them. So that's something that the guys got to see and be cautious of what's going to get thrown at them.
Yeah, absolutely. And I guess I can do the Astros injuries since I was there.
I was
So,
going to do it.
oh,
You
go ahead, Sevan. No, 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 perfect. Say you got it.
Astros injuries. Jake Myers calf discomfort was the reason he was pulled on Sunday, and reason why he didn't play on Monday. Espada did say he was feeling better, and then Luis Garcia threw 2 innings off live bullpen at the Astros Florida Complex League. Christian Javier also threw 2 innings, and Zach DeZenzo, Chaz McCormick, both men did their outfield work before today's game. McCormick will head to OKC to continue his rehab.
Yeah. So
Okay.
go ahead, go ahead.
No, good. You go. You go this time. Come on.
I was gonna say, like the missing pieces for this Astros team to be complete are slowly working their way back. So this is good, especially for guys like Christian Javier, Luis Garcia, who can kind of straighten this rotation out. You know, Colton Gordon and Ryan Walter have been holding down the fort. However, can the Astros trust them to go all year long? That's yet to be seen. So having some security blanket like Christian Javier, Luis Garcia kind of say this rotation up is really great. And you know, Jake Myers, I think they're gonna go easy with him. I wouldn't be surprised if he's in the lineup tomorrow against the Cleveland Guardians. And I actually watched Jackson and Terrence McCormick take their afterwards, and they look really good. They're really moving out there, so I'm sure they're itching, ready to be back.
Yeah, Brendan Rodgers is also another guy I think too that was working with Zach
Yeah,
DeZenzo. So that's
I did
another
see
good
that too.
sign. And like you mentioned, Luis Garcia and Christian Javier, if you're a Nationals fan, you're hoping and you're praying that these guys are healthy by the time the second half season rolls around because the Astros are really going to need them. And I'm telling y'all right here, to me, I don't think Colin Gordon, Ryan Gusto, and Brandon Walters are going to be able to carry this rotation going into the
Yeah,
postseason. So
I agree.
they're really
yeah,
going to need Luis
absolutely.
Garcia and Christian Javier to be back in this rotation. Not to mention too, Spencer Righetti's still doing some bullpen to get him back on track. Uh, just be aware. Maybe the Astros do look at a low level starting pitcher at the trade deadline. Maybe that's why I said maybe. Just depending on how Luis Garcia and Christian Javier are when it comes to that time around the trade deadline, which is usually around July 31st, if I'm not mistaken. So just be aware on that. Maybe it'd be a good little idea, maybe to go after a starting pitcher. Of course, I think the Astros' priority heading into the trade deadline is looking at a left-handed bat that has some power and some pop. But other than that, I mean, it's just great news that the Astros are getting these type of feedback of these players and how they're performing over there at the FCO complex.
Yeah.
But before we go, should we acquire Max Scherzer?
Nah,
I don't think the Astros should acquire Scherzer now.
I agree. I did not
I
think
I
so.
don't even think he would even enjoy coming to Houston himself. He always seems like he always had
There
a little bit of hate towards some of the Astros players with his
there is
little
a
pretty
player
eye.
I do want to mention. And that's Brian Reynolds.
Oh yeah,
He's a guy that's on the Pirates right now.
Yeah,
They're actually like not doing so well, so they might be looking at sellers. And he did list his no
no
trade,
trade clause.
clause, and the Astros were not on the list. But the teams that were on the list were the Dodgers, the Yankees. I'm trying to find it right here. So if
Yankees,
you
Blue
can
man,
Jays, Mets, Dodgers, Giants, and Padres.
very
there you go.
shocking, man. Them are all the postseason teams, the
Yeah,
East and West Coast teams. I'm
He's a
very
small
shocked
market
about that.
guy.
you know what
Yes.
one of the comments says right under it
Mm.
in quotation: "The lights are too bright." Starter set.
And
He's a
that
small
makes
market, like he's a small market guy. I mean, I'm sure he wants to play, playoff baseball.
Mhm.
Astros looking for, a left-handed bat.
I like it.
The
He's a
Astros and
switcher.
Pirates have made trades before, so I mean, this could be a good connection there for Houston.
Yeah, they
yeah.
can go ahead and just send Paul Skeens with them too if they want to do a trade. Do it, huh? I'm
You're talking
kidding.
about how everybody's gone off that roster if that's going to be the case. But yeah, Brian Reynolds not a bad option. And for Astro fans, you're like, well, isn't he a right-handed hitter? No,
Switchy.
he's a switch hitter. That's even
Hmm.
better for Houston. You
And,
can
and
have
then
him
you could,
for the
and then
right
you could
side.
place him anywhere too in the outfield.
Exactly, right side or the left side. If you're an Astros fan, you would like to see that. And a guy that has played with one of the best college baseball programs ever, and that's the Vanderbilt Commodores. And he's gone to the College World Series. He knows where the lights shine bright, even though he's been at Pittsburgh almost his whole career. That wouldn't be a bad addition for the Astros. You're not breaking the bank. I wouldn't think either you'd be giving up a lot because right now Brian Reynolds isn't having a great season. He did have an all star. He was an all star last year, but this season hasn't been the best for him. So maybe like Angel said, the Astros and the Pirates have done some negotiations in the past. Maybe the Astros do go back and look at that and possibly kind of win a trade in that category, not giving up too much of the farm and not as many as top prospects too. So Be a good opportunity for Houston to look into that as well.
I think for I see right here names that seem pretty good. I think Sandy Alcantara will be a nice one to pick up pitching, maybe if the price is right. Even Nick Martinez from the Reds, and then for like hitters, you got Brandon Lowe too, Jaron Duran. That could be possible, pretty good pieces to throw out there as well.
Yeah, Jeremy Durant, if I'm not mistaken, Padres are like the highest team on him.
Hmm.
Brandon Lowe is interesting because, man, do y'all see Jose Altuve being in left field in the postseason? I mean, I
Nah.
just, man, that's kind of
It's
hard to
hard. Yeah, it's
see.
hard to see.
It's hard to see that. I'm not gonna lie to y'all.
But
And
it could be one of those bench demons. But it's like that's a guy that needs to play. He has to play too.
no, you do not put your star player on the bench just for
Yeah.
that reason. So no, if anything, he'd be to me. I
DH.
think second base. And if it's the case, if you get Brian Reynolds, then definitely Altuve's going back to second base because Reynolds is an outfielder, like Esteban said, and he's played all the positions. So it wouldn't make sense for him not to be starting every day. Sandy Alcantara, that'd be a hard one to get. I think Marlins are going to be looking for a big one on him. Plus, the Marlins have been playing some great baseball as of late too. Not to mention, so yeah, trade deadline. You gotta love it. You gotta love who's and the rumors and the speculations and all that good stuff. But of course, the Houston Astros are going to be looking for a left-handed bat, more likely with some pop in it.
And then one thing that's not a trade, but I did want to mention, I think the Astros brought back the Taylor Scott.
Yeah,
They
think
did
so.
bring him back. I think so
Yeah.
too.
Minor league deal.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Hector Neris is back. Like Angel said, Kennedy Corona made his MLB debut. Yeah, a lot of roster updates each and every day with this Houston Ball Club. But we are here for y'all. We are here to show y'all and to let y'all know what is going around the organization. So, last comment: Yiner starts until his legs needs rest, then swap with Victor. Plus, pitchers got their preferences too. Not to mention, so
Yeah.
um,
But now we're all Christian Walker's on paternity leave.
yeah, Christian Walker more than likely Caratine's going to see the first base because DeZenzo's not playing.
That's what he did today. Saw first.
Yeah, he played first base as well. So Yiner Diaz is another guy that had played some first. Dubon has played some first. And you remember this back like last year. John Singleton back. Speaking of that too, with that, it's been a while now that's been out there, but that's another first baseman. So
You could put Wickham at first as well.
we'll come at first. And you see, you got a whole platoon. You got a lot of depth. You can put everybody anywhere. But 272 is in the books. Astro Silence LA of that title is done. And you can follow us on Full Steam Ahead on Twitter, on TikTok, FSA Full Steam Ahead on Instagram, of course, on YouTube. If you're on YouTube right now, make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you won't miss any of our live videos. Of course, we got some interviews kind of getting set up in place, so we'll be able to make sure to have that bell going so then you will not miss that going with those players and some of the coaches' possibility. And of course, if you don't want to see our beautiful faces, you want to hear our lovely voices on the road, traveling to Atlanta, Georgia, if you're going out there for the All-Star Week, which I highly recommend. If you have not gone to an All-Star Weekend, highly recommend to go out there. Or you're going to work and you're yelling on 45 or 59, because it's hectic out there. Go to Spotify, go to Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts, we are there. Hit that 5 stars, hit that feedback, and let us know what we're doing, how we're doing, all that good stuff. The comment section is always there, always open for us. We enjoy that. But Steban, any last words before we go?
I just want to give my condolences and prayers to the families that were affected in this tragic event that happened took place in this weekend. I don't really want to mention too much of it because it's a pretty sad situation, but I'm sure a lot of you have heard what happened in Texas with the river flooding. So prayers out to all those poor families. Hope everybody can give the people the support that they can, and shout out to the people that are out there donating their time to go recover and donate food to people that are in need right now.
Absolutely. Great step better than that.
Yeah, can't do any last words as well.
No, just thank you for listening and peace.
Yeah, he looks like he's already out. He's in that little corner over there of his house, so he's ready to hit that couch right now.
Absolutely.
Turn on
But
that fireplace behind them and get cozy.
right now, hell no, it's hot as shit in Houston right now.
I'm kidding.
You want to get cozy right now? You
I'm
crazy.
kidding.
But I will finish it off by with saying what Steban said, like he said, but real quick, what the Astros had done, committing $1 million to support relief efforts for those impacted by the devastating flooding in Central Texas over the 4th of July weekend. This was a quote from the Astros and from Jim Crane. It says, quote, "It's important to the entire Astros organization to send immediate support to our fellow Texans throughout the Hill Country during this devastating time," says Astros owner and chairman Jim Crane along his wife Whitney Crane. So prayers out there to all the families. I don't know if y'all saw HEB going out there, disaster relief, all them, doing what good Texans do. And, you know, just like you said, prayers out there to the families. Very tough weekend for them, especially. But keep everybody in your prayers. Keep your loved ones, keep your family, your friends, all that, because you never know what the world could come down to. But until then, we'll recap that Guardian series possibly Thursday. Possibly Thursday, if anything on Friday, but more than likely it's going to be on Thursday. And we'll get you the preview of the last home series before the Astros and rest of Major League Baseball goes on break because of All-Star Week. So, till then, y'all stay safe. Have a blessed week, and we'll talk to y'all soon.
Peace.
Peace out.